What is going on, guys? Jordan here with the Deck Box, coming back to you tonight. We're going to be hopping on to PTCGO, and we are actually going to be recording a deck that I swore ever since it came out that I was not going to play it. No way, no how, because this type of deck I hated for so long. And really, it was more that I hated playing against this deck. And I finally came to that realization that it was really more just me hating playing against this as opposed to playing the deck, because I never even tried it. So the other night, Eric and I were recording a little bit, and I said, this deck, it's really, really good. I hate playing against it, but that's probably why, is because it's so good. So I said, I probably need to build it for the channel so that people can see, how it works. Like, even though I don't like it, doesn't mean I shouldn't try it, and I shouldn't showcase it for you guys. I'm not going to hold that back just because I don't enjoy playing it necessarily, or so I thought. So the deck I'm talking about is actually Quad Sylveon. This is one that came out with the release of Guardians Rising, and it is a mill deck. I have never played a mill deck before. I'd played against Sableye Garb in Expanded. Absolutely hate playing against that deck. I did get to where I was able to beat it, learn how to beat it and things like that. Quite honestly, with Sylveon, I've played a few Guardian matchups where if the player is actually smart and understands what's going on, they can find a way to beat it. It's kind of a 50-50 matchup from what I've seen. Other than that, and then of course Metal Pokemon just kind of steamroll this thing. But with Fire being so good right now, it kind of, shuts those down for a little bit. So that helps this deck in particular. This deck, against pretty much every other deck I've gone against, does well. So I enjoy it. I hate to say it. I enjoy playing this deck. And it may actually be one that I consider taking to tournaments. And that's another thing I swore up and down, that this should not be taken to tournaments, for best of 3 especially, because you're not going to finish game 2. If you lose game 1, you just lose the whole thing. You don't even get to tie. But now I see how good it is, and I think, it's good enough that it should be able to win game 1. And if it finishes game 2 as a loss, then you tied. And if it doesn't finish game 2, you won the whole round, only had to play one actual game. So there's that. And then, of course, League Challenges, best of 1. I typically don't like playing those anyway because I don't like best of 1. But you can actually play this quicker than some people have in the past. So I think League Challenges, you get like 30 minutes a match. You can finish one of these games in 30 minutes, for sure, at least from my experience. Obviously, it's quicker on PTCGO, but I'm pretty sure you can win a match in 30 minutes with this. And I don't just mean finish a match, I mean win a match. And this has some pretty good matchups from what I've seen so far. I built it one way, made 2 quick tweaks to it tonight, been playing with it, and it's actually working the same. I just need to pay more attention to when I use certain cards in certain matchups. For example, this deck runs Team Rocket's Handiwork, which, if you don't know what that does, you flip 2 coins, and if you get a heads, for each heads, you discard 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. So that was typically what I was going for, because I'm like, I just want to get rid of their cards as fast as I can, and then puzzle time them back, and just keep doing that. However, when you go up against a deck like Guardy, or for example Rainbow Road that I just played against, or even a Xerneas Break deck, you want to get rid of their energy. That's going to be your way to shut them down. So rather than focusing on the Team Rocket's Handiwork so much, it was more around the hammers and the Plumerias and Team Flare Guns, things like that. So it's great against a lot of decks. You just have to know your matchups and what is going to shut down your opponent's deck the most. There is potential to win against Metagross. Still not great potential. If they get set up, then you're in trouble. However, if they have to rare candy up into their Metagross, you use Plea GX, get rid of 2 of their Metagross, and now they're out of rare candies. They can't get those back up. They're going to be taking a lot longer to get their energy out there, and you just keep discarding their energy off the field, and they can only ever get 2 on at a time, potentially. So there's ways around it. You just have to know what you're doing. And so tonight we're actually going to be looking at, learning this a little bit more. I'm still not a pro at it. I do get a lot of wins with this deck, though. I consider myself to be pretty well versed in my list, and I feel like I can do pretty well to show you guys. So without further ado, we're just going to hop right in. We do have the Sylveon GX. That is the core of our deck. We do a 4/4 line with the Energy Evolution Eevee. So the main point of this deck is just this magical ribbon right here. Search your deck for up to 3 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So if you remember, Lapras from Sun Moon Base had Collect, where you draw 3 cards. Well, Sylveon, you get to go and search out whatever 3 cards you want. You make the decision. It's not just random. You decide, okay, I need a Max Potion, I need Energy, and a Team Flare Grunt. And that's what you go with, and your next turn is set up, unless they end you, which typically I'm finding that's okay, because when people end themselves, they're typically trying to end themselves into a larger hand, unless it's the end of the game and they realize, oh man, I'm about to be decked out. Typically, they're going to play those early to preserve their resources. So they'll play their hand down to maybe 2, 3, 4 cards. They'll play an N and they'll bump up to 6. So they just reduce their deck that much more. So I'm okay if my magical ribbon causes that, and I'll even do that sometimes to them. If they play down to 1 card or no cards, typically you wouldn't want to end them at that point because you'd be helping them, quote unquote. But in this deck, it makes sense to actually do that, because you just shrunk their deck size by 6 cards, 5 cards, whatever the case may be. You're actually shrinking it up, and typically whatever resources they do use, you can just get rid of them anyway. So it's really neat how this works. It also has the Fairy Wind attack. It does 110 for a Fairy and a double colorless. You're not going to use that. I have in a couple games if I prize something that I kind of want or think might help me. So I might take out some little stuff here and there just for the fun of it. Because typically your hand's going to get just bombarded with cards. You're going to have a 15-hand card for half the game, and you can obviously only use 1 supporter at a time. You're not always going to need an energy or whatever. So really don't need to use Fairy Wind. And especially if you're going up against a Guardy, you want to keep the energy off of your Sylveon as much as possible. So 1 energy is a decent amount to stick with. Then we have PTCGO. This will be when we do want to stack 3 energy on. And what it does is you put 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and all cards, attach them into your opponent's hand. This has been great for me. I've used it in Ho-Oh matchups or Volcanion. You've got something on the bench that just got Kiawa'd, has 4 energies on it, and another one that's been max elixired a couple times. Put those back into their hand, because if they Kiawe again, they're just going to be sitting there with a bunch of, they're going to have to keep wasting their turns and keep wasting resources. And I know some people only play 1 Kiawe. I personally play 2. But you just wasted that turn for them. And then what also happens is you can follow up with a Team Skull Grunt, which allows you to discard 2 energy from their hand, because they obviously can't put all 4 energy onto a Pokemon the following turn from their hand. So you just take those away from them, and they can't use it. So Plea works really well for that. Like I said, you can get rid of some Metagross and kind of help your matchup a little. And then also in the Guardian matchup, if they have stuff stacked on their bench and they've used their rare candies, get rid of those. And like I said, just use your Team Skull Grunts the next turn and get rid of the energy from their hand, because they're not going to be able to get it all out at once. So that is the main. We only play those 8 Pokemon. We do not play any Lele, we don't play any Oranguru, nothing. It's 4 Eevee, 4 Sylveon. The most you ever really want to have is 1 on your bench, 1 in the active. If you know your active is going to be KO'd soon, maybe set 1 up on the bench to be ready, but you really don't need a bunch out there. This is also great because it reduces the threat of an Necrozma or any sort of spread deck. Then we play 4 Crushing Hammer and 4 E-Hammer. And I know this sounds crazy because I've seen some lists, especially earlier on, that would play like 4 Crushing and then like 1 or 2 E-Hammer. But right now, our format is so saturated with DCEs and Rainbow Energy. And Rainbow Energy is in a lot of decks right now. So, I mean, you think of the big decks. You got Guardy, they run DCE. You have Golisopod variants. They typically will run Rainbow Energy if it's a Golisopod Garb. Garb decks, Drampa Garb, they're probably going to run Special Energy. So those are some of the big decks right now in the standard format, and it's a lot of Special Energy. So the E-Hammers really make sense for those matchups especially. And what's great is if you go up against something like a Volcanion or a Ho-Oh deck, or Salazzle Ho-Oh, this is just a throwaway card, which is fine because we do play Plumeria in here. You can discard 2 cards from your hand, discard an energy anywhere on the field of any type. So essentially, you're going to have some throwaway cards in this deck depending on the matchup, and that's okay because we're not going to need our E-Hammers in a Volk matchup. We're not going to need our E-Hammers in a Ho-Oh matchup or a Metagross matchup, whatever the case may be. Once we don't need something, just dump it. It's okay. It's not gonna really affect your matchup too much. We do play 2 Field Blower. This is just to, at least in my experience, is either reduce their damage output to make sure you're not getting KO'd in one shot, or if you want to stall something in the active, you can Field Blower away some Float Stones and keep them from doing that. It also really helps in the Gliscopod matchup because you get rid of their Float Stones. You can strand. If they're paying attention, they'll make sure to put a Float Stone on their Garb. I played against a player who put a Choice Band on their Garb, so I just stuck him up in the active for a few turns. And of course, they were able to Guzma out occasionally, but if you just keep Guzmaing him right back, he gets stuck. So that's why we play those Field Blowers. For Max Potion, this, of course, I mean, we're going to get hit hard, so we're just going to use the Max Potion, heal off all of our damage, and then just attach an energy to do what we need to do. And like I said, with Magical Ribbon, we can grab those combinations of cards. We're not going to have to worry about, oh, can I draw into it, or am I going to miss this? You're going to have it as long as you weren't end. For Puzzle of Time, this is just to get back any key cards we may need. If it's a deck that's heavy with special energy, like Gliscopod Garb, we might play the puzzles to get back some E-Hammers and make sure that we just discard all 8 of their special energy and then they can't use those anymore. So that's just one example. A lot of times we use this to get back Team Rocket's Handiwork or Delinquent, depending on the matchup. And that brings us to the next card. We play 3 Delinquent. Now, something that's odd about our list, whenever this list first came out, Silent Lab was still in format. It's no longer in the standard format, and there's really no stadiums that we need in this deck, so I didn't include any. But a lot of decks right now are playing stadiums, so we take advantage of that. We discard their stadium, and we shrink their hand up by 3 cards. So it may seem weird that we don't play stadiums and we play Delinquent. It works out. And again, if they don't play stadiums, this is a throwaway, and it's good to use your Plumeria on. We need to have throwaway cards for Plumeria to make sense and not be wasteful. Because we don't want to throw away cards just to get them back with puzzles. We want to use them and then get them back with puzzles. So if we have throwaway cards like Delinquent, then we're in a good spot. Next, we play 4 Guzma. We play such a high count because we're trying to get stuff stuck in the active. And of course, if our active takes heavy damage and we don't have any Max Potion available, or whatever the case may be, we can get him out of harm's way and just keep rolling. Next, we play 2N. This, like I said, really, it does 2 things. Like near the end, you're going to have a really big hand size, so you can shrink that up and put it back in your deck. And that's where you do have to start being careful with Magical Ribbon near the end of the game. If you and your opponent have like the same amount of cards, you might want to ease up on Magical Ribboning. You don't have to grab 3 cards. You can grab 1 at a time or 2 at a time. Or you just don't have to Magical Ribbon at all. You can choose to pass. And you have to make those decisions at the right times. Otherwise, you are going to get too big of a hand size and not... you're going to run out yourself. So that's why we play the ends. And then also, like I said, when they shrink their hand size up, you just build it right back up. And they might think you're doing them a service, but really you're just shrinking their deck a little bit more. Next, we come to the 3 Plumeria. This allows you to discard 2 cards from your hand. If you do, discard an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. So this is Team Flare Grunt, except you can hit any Pokemon. A lot of players will try to protect their energy on the bench. Makes perfect sense. Flare Grunt can't get to it. Plumeria can. It's a guaranteed hammer. So if your crushing fails, then you're able to use this. Then, we'll skipped a card. We do play 2 Pokemon Center Ladies. This is just to take away some of the little bit of damage, because what happens a lot of times is players will come out and they'll try to hit you for a small amount of damage at the beginning, maybe 50 or 60, something like that, expecting that you're not going to waste Max Potion to heal, and that the next turn they can hit you with their big move. They're not going to do big move first and then little move, which makes sense because they know you're just going to Max Potion it. So that's what we play Pokemon Center Lady for, is we can kind of take those chances away from them and save our Max Potions for the big hits. Then we do play one Team Flare Grunt. We only play one because we have so many other energy discarding cards. It works well. Typically, we're going to want to do other things. Next, we do play 4 Team Rockets Handiworks. Flip 2 coins for each heads. Discard 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck. So a potential of 4 cards each time. Typically, you'll hit 1 heads. So with just 4, you're getting rid of 8 other cards. If you puzzle these back, you're potentially looking at 16 to 32 if you hit all heads, which that's probably not going to happen. But you can discard quite a bit from their deck just from this 1 card. Next, we do play 2 Team Skull Grunts. Like I said, it's great to plea Pokemon back into an opponent's hand and then discard all the energy cards from their hand. Not all of them, 2, sorry. Then we do play 1 DCE. The only reason that we play a DCE is to use that plea GX, and it's obviously a one-time thing. So we don't play 4, we just need the 1, and we can search this out with our magical ribbon. Then we play 12 Fairy Energy to round things off. The reason we play such a high count of this is because we want turn 1 Energy Evolution Eevee with a Fairy Energy so we can start doing what we need to do. We don't want to be stuck with 60 HP Eevee, way too easy to get KO'd, and your game could be done the first turn. So you have to really make sure that you hit this. All right, so that rounds off the list. Some inclusions that I've thought about adding, I just don't know what I'd cut. Would be Acerola, of course, where you can just pull your Pokemon back. And I really think I need to find a couple slots for that in this list. At the moment, I haven't really thought of any. Probably get rid of a Delinquent and maybe 1 Plumeria or an Energy and add in a couple of those. But we're going to try it out this way tonight, and we're going to see how it works for us. Kind of show you guys a couple things. One, this is my goal, and it's going to sound like a weird goal. I want to get this deck through 1 game, at least 1 game. I'm aiming for 3, but I want to make it from start to finish because it looks like we're playing Guardy. Not an easy matchup. But what I was saying is, a lot of times when you play, especially on PTCGO, if people see that you're playing a straight Sylveon deck, they are going to get frustrated and they are going to rage quit. So I can tell you this is definitely a good deck for PTCGO because people they don't want to spend their time playing against that. And to be fair, it's not really current meta right now, so they're not going to be looking to test against it as much. I know occasionally a player will show up with this, but it typically doesn't hit top tables, or at least it hasn't in recent history. So yeah, so a lot of people just don't want to play against it, and that's okay. It just gives us a free win online. One thing to also look out for, you're going to give up multiple mulligans. Typically, I've had up to 5 just in the past few days in one game, and that's happened multiple times. It's not a big deal. You're just shrinking their deck up even more. And if anything, if you start your game with like a Team Skull Grunt, use it then. That's the time to use it when they have, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in their hand. You're pretty much guaranteed to hit 1 or 2 energy and get them out of play. And what's great is a lot of time they don't realize what you're playing right away, so they just start dumping resources. And this guy's smart. I think he knows what we're playing. Well, yeah, he should know because we have the mulligans. So he's just dumping his Sycamores. He does not want to use those because he will just be shrinking his deck by 7 cards each time plus whatever's in his hand. So that makes sense that he would dump those. Really no reason not to. I am surprised that he did not grab a Lele to get Bridget. He may have it in his hand already. No, he just ends. Sorry, wife's asking a password. All right. So we're going to get down another Eevee. Like I said, we need to have a backup. We're going to do this Energy Evolution. And then we will E-Hammer. Get rid of that DCE to start the game strong. Magical Ribbon. Now this is the tough part. You have to make sure you play it right. You don't want to grab cards unnecessarily. We've already got one of those in our hand, don't we? No, we don't. He end us, that's right. So we'll grab one of those. We'll probably grab another E-hammer, maybe a crushing hammer, depending on what kind of energy they stick out there, and we can get rid of it. Now, the most difficult part for us in this matchup is the fact that they have their GX attack, which allows them to shuffle 10 cards from their discard pile back into their deck. That kills us. If a Guardy player beats us, it's because they did that at the right time. They don't do it too late in the game, but they don't do it too soon. They do it at like the perfect time. I mean, it's always crucial when they hit it, and it really causes problems for us. So that's something we also have to watch out for. All right, so they are Bridgeting, Ringru, Diancie, and Remoraid. All right, so this is actually good for us. They're starting to get their float stones down, and we can actually start discarding those with our field blowers a little bit later. All right, so we missed that. That is okay. We'll get this on this guy, so he's ready. We'll use Team Rocket's Handiwork. And we'll Magical Ribbon again. I think I'll try to get all those dumped as quickly as possible. Grab some more hammers. Alright, so they get the Guardy. Then they get a bunch of energy. 1, 2, 3, 4 is 120. They can hit for 150 right now, which is actually not a problem for us. We can just get rid of those energy right away. Sorry, guys. All right, so now the issue that we have right here is that our active is really damaged. All right. So I think I'll actually just retreat it. Alright, so we got a heads on that one. Got rid of a rare candy and an ultra ball. That's actually really good. So what we're going to grab this time is we are going to get our max potion. We'll grab an energy for the bench. And we'll grab another handiwork. Alright. So far we're actually not in a terrible spot. They haven't used their GX attack, though, and that's something we need to watch out for. But there they are, shrinking their hand up again. And typically what they'll do with their GX attack is they'll just grab all their energies back, which is fine. We have ways to get rid of those. Now, they did just hurt us by getting rid of our E-hammer, which would have helped us big time right here. That's okay. Let's see what they've gotten rid of. Still not a ton of energy in the discard. And that's kind of worrisome for me. They are almost out of special energy, though. Alright, so this is a good time to use our max potion. Use that up right away. And we will Flare Grunt. get rid of that DCE. And we'll grab some more hammers. I will grab the field blower to get rid of stuff. Actually, I'm not going to grab the hammer yet. I'm not going to grab the... Actually, I will grab the hammer. I'm not going to grab the field blower. Need to get energy and max potion because I imagine they're going to hit us again this next turn. And if it's for more than what they can hit for now, it's going to be a problem for us. They're going to Gizmo. They're going to just take out the weakened Sylveon, and that's okay. This is when people start to get desperate, wasting their resources just to take simple KOs, because you have to. Unless you can one-shot these, they really do cause problems. It doesn't look like they have any energy in their hand, though. Unless they're just not attaching it because they don't want me to discard it. They want to make sure they have it in their hand. This is actually good. I can get rid of float stones so they can't Gizmo retreat like they just did. I'll Plumeria. Get rid of Delinquent because I don't think we'll need that. And I need to keep the energy. I will get rid of the E-Hammer. We've already gotten rid of quite a few of their, what do you call them? Of their special energy. So I don't think we have to worry too much about that. We already got what we need there. Grab an E-Hammer. I know we just dumped one, but now we can use our last one to get rid of whatever they have left. Pretty soon we'll have to start grabbing our Puzzle of Times to start getting stuff back from our discard. Probably getting a rare candy here, if they still have any. Yeah. Oh no, it looked like a choice band. I missed it. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. Yep, choice band. And they may actually be helping us here by using that Ultra Ball. We can end them into a larger hand later. Oh no, Octillery, they're just going to keep digging. They'll probably use their GX attack this move, or this turn though, to be honest with you. Because again, they can't take a one-shot on us now. They're digging through, and they'll probably grab their 10 cards. But that's fine. They'd still be at 21. Oh no, they're going to Secret Spring. It looks like they might try to attack. But if they do use their GX at this point, we're still ahead of them, and they're just shrinking up their hand. Or their deck, rather. So that's going to put 3 energy, 4s, 120, choice bands, 150. And we have that max potion there. So we're okay with that. I really wish they'd put a special energy on there. Alright, so this time we need to grab energy to evolve. We need to get another puzzle. I think we'll Gizmo. We'll get this big one with energy out of the active. And then what we can actually do, maybe the following turn, if we get our DCE, we can follow up with a Plea GX. I can't remember if it was in our deck or not. That's something I should have checked early. 5 is 150, 180. So they could Abyssal Hand, and if they hit it, our active is dead. What would be awesome right now, because we're going to use these puzzles, we're going to get back, I think I'm going to get a Team Rocket's Handiwork. I think I'll actually grab, oh, never mind. They're just messing up our hand. That's okay, they're still at the same amount of cards. If I can get my 2 puzzles, I can get Team Rocket Handiwork back. If I hit 2 heads, it's game over. All right, so there's 1. Okay. They're just dumping things left and right. What was the Pokemon that they dumped? A Xerneas. That's interesting. I don't know if they realize... they have to play their GX this turn. I just don't see why they wouldn't. Or maybe they're trying to save it till the very last bit. Yep, there it is. Okay. That's fine. Because it still only puts them up to 12. We're still at 23. We do need to find ways to dump some of their energy there. And they're going to grab back their DCEs, excuse me, and their fairy energies most likely. Yep, 2 gizmos, fairy drop, which is pointless. I don't know why they grabbed that. And a rescue stretcher. Yeah, there's no reason for them to grab a fairy garden. We're not going to use it. Oh, and this is good. Oh, no, we can't use it. Dang, 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 dang. We could have plead, but I don't want to plea with that one in the active, but I need this one back here. Let's see, how many floatstones have they played? 2. We haven't seen any other than that. They grabbed a couple gizmos, so there is still a chance that they can get that back. But that's fine. We're going to drag the Octillery into the active. Next turn, if this Guardy's still on the bench, we are going to plea GX. So I'm going to grab a Gizmo just to make sure we can make that happen. Max Potion if the active gets hurt, and we'll grab a puzzle to be set up for next turn. Maybe we can actually grab some hammers. Alright, so at this point, there's no way for them to get cards back other than their rescue stretcher, which that was a smart play of them to grab that. I'm kind of surprised they didn't grab any ends, though. I guess the gizmos were just there to guarantee that they don't get stuck. So right now they could swing for 180, 210. So they would take a one-shot on us, which is why we grabbed the gizmo. Because we're just going to dump all that energy. And they'll only be able to put 3 of those back on, so we can follow up with the Team Skullgrunt and discard 2 of those from their hand. Just guaranteeing that they can only swing for 120. Alright, so they're going to build up both. And let's see, I think one of these was built up with a Curlia. Yeah, that one was built with a Curlia, and this one was built with a rare candy. So that's good. They'll likely only be able to get 1 up quickly. So, oh, I don't even need to use Gizmo. That's awesome. I'll grab this guy. Don't need to puzzle for crushing. We'll puzzle for... Yeah, I think you realize what's about to happen. We'll grab back... Team Rockets, really. We'll use one of them this turn. Try to shrink up the deck. Next turn, we'll use the Team Skullgrunt. Alright, so we got one of them. Got rid of a Gizmo and a DCE. Those are great cards to get rid of. Use the Plea GX. Get rid of this guy and this guy. So one of them, like I said, it's going to take 1, 2, 3 turns to get it set up, and the other one, if they get a rare candy, they can get it back. Uh-oh, he's happy about something. Does he have his 4th N? Oh, if he has his 4th N, that's insane. Does he have his 4th N? I know that Ralph's was down before, so he might have a rare candy. He could probably get a Guardy up. Who knows? No, he's got his Curlia. Okay, that's fine. Man, I could actually... I could Gizmo up the Curlia, retreat this one, take a knockout on it. That way, just kind of ruin his day. Like I said, normally I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I think it's worth a play though. So I know I said you never attack, but if it's the right situation that prevents them, again, this isn't about taking prizes. This is about preventing your opponent from doing what they need to do to beat you. And let's see, how many Curlias are in here now? One, is it just one? So he may still have some in his hand. Now he's going to try to start attacking with a Rangaroo. He's gotten to that point. Missed it. Now I'm debating if I use Skull Grunt. Yeah, I'll use Skull Grunt. I'll use the... Ooh, and a DCE. That's a great one to get rid of, especially with a Rangaroo attacking. You'd be hitting for a decent amount. I'm not going to take a KO on him. I will grab puzzles. I'll grab another Team Skull Grunt. Makes sense. Maybe a Gizmo if we need to stall something. So it might seem odd to grab a couple supporters at the same time because you can't use them both, but it really just depends on which situation. You don't want to go in assuming this is going to happen. Well, it could happen, or they could do this, and it could really mess up your plan. So have a backup as well. Excuse me. It's actually, I don't want to say super difficult, but it can be difficult to time the exact right plays that you need to make. So they're going to use Diancie and try to evolve, which is fine. We have Gizmo. We'll just KO whatever they evolve. Now let's try to see what's in their deck. Now, this turn... Oh, he's just going to scoop. I was going to say we could actually win it with the Team Rocket's handiwork if we hit 2 heads, but we don't even have to find out. I consider that a full game. It does take time. That is the one thing. It's not like a speedy deck that's going to grind through the ladder. But it's a deck that you're going to get wins on the ladder. So, very happy with how that one went. I'll try to get at least one more. Probably won't do the typical 3 with this one because it does take time. I am super happy with how that match went, though. Like I said, Guardy is one of the more difficult matchups that we have because they have such a great way to accelerate energy. And, you know, they're typically, Guardy players, they're smart players. They know what they're doing if they've been playing with it for a while. Now, there are some who just picked it up because it's the best deck in format and they're going to do whatever they can. They don't know what they're doing, per se. But there are a lot of players who are smart enough to realize, okay, I got to use my GX at this point. That player was really smart. He knew that he needed to discard his Sycamores right away. He's like, I'm not going to use those because it doesn't make any sense. Good play on his part. So it's really all about... It doesn't necessarily come down to the deck, unless it's like a metal deck, you know, then you're kind of dead in the water. But the other decks, it really comes down to how good is my opponent. If they're really, really good, they might be able to dig their way out. Some decks, they really just can't. But if it's a deck like Guardy, if you have a really, really smart opponent, it's going to be a tough matchup. This is one that we don't have a tough time with it, but we do need to play it smart because we play a lot of items, especially to get rid of energy. So we don't want to just stack our discard with items because then they will guarantee one-shots every time. And of course, what do we have? A handful of items. Now we do need to discard energy a lot at the beginning, so if I need to use hammers, I will. I really have no issue doing that. I just have to use them at the right time and hit them every time, just like I did. So this time we'll Magical Ribbon. We'll grab another energy so we can evolve. Grab a Team Rocket so we can start dumping energy. Let's see. And we'll grab a Plumeria just in case. Now, your Plumeria in this matchup is a lot tougher to time right because, like I said, you don't want to dump a bunch of items, but you do need to be careful which supporters you're dumping because you will need them at some time. Okay, now that's going to cause issues for us. And quite honestly, I probably just won't use Magical Ribbon right now because we are, you know, we're kind of already a turn ahead of where we need to be, and we're evened up in our deck with our opponent. So we do hit the heads on that, which is great. We get one heads, Guzma and a Trubbish. Those are two good cards to get rid of. Hey, and I just sold something on eBay. That's good news. I don't know what, but I sold something. I guess I should find out. Gotta sell some cards to get the money for the pre-releases. I'm going to attach here. I will retreat. Put the new one up because I am going to need to start drawing some stuff. I'm actually going to dump an EV and an energy. I don't want to dump a bunch of items to get rid of stuff. Magical Ribbon. And we will grab. Let me see what they got going on. I'm hoping that they get a Garb up that really can't attack for much and I can get it stuck in the active, or if it's their Garbotoxin Garb, that would be good for us. We will grab another Crushing Hammer, and we'll grab a Delinquent. That should keep them from getting the energy they need every single turn. And they just keep getting it. They probably play, actually probably only, well, let's see, in this one, I know it's tough whenever they play, when they play Espeon and Grandpa, you don't know if they play Rainbow Energies or not. I've already dumped 3 items, it's actually not bad. I'm only hitting for 60 right now. I'm going to use this as my supporter. Hey, and we hit it twice. Got rid of 2 DCE and a Psychic and a Hala. Wow, that is really, really good. I'm happy with those. Alright. And we'll just click done for now. Again, we don't want to go through our magical ribbons too fast. So far, I don't think they've played any ends or second words. There's one in their discard, but I think we put that there. 60. We are going to Delinquent. Another DCE. I think that, is that all? No. Okay, they have one more DCE. We'll click done. Once we get another energy, I'm going to let this guy just kind of build up with his Psychics doing 30 at a time. And now he's getting desperate. He uses his Sycamore. So he's down to 22 cards. Probably going to get a DCE. Or, well, maybe not. He's only got the one left. If he hits that, he can hit us for 90, which still doesn't do it. And then we can just max potion off. It's not a big deal. There's our last Crushing Hammer. And we hit it. What is that, 3 out of 4 heads on Crushing Hammers? That's insane. Click done for now. The most you can do is another 30. Like I said, I'll just let him kind of build that up. And if he gets his DCE out before he puts his... Alright, so he's going to NS. That's okay. I'd like a new hand. But I'll say if he gets his DCE out before he gets his Psychic out, we can just E-hammer it away. And that's their last one. And there's a Guzma. We actually do need to see that. We're not going to be putting any damage on there, guys, so he has to play Rainbow Energy. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think he's going to take a... No. Oh, yeah, he does, because we had 90 on us. So he does take a KO. That's fine. Really not a big issue. Let's put you right here. And this will be a turn where we do use a Gizmo. And we'll bring up the Grandpa because he's got a choice band. He's not going to be able to float out. How many? Alright, they've only played 2 floats. And now we'll start using our magical ribbon again. We'll grab an E-hammer just in case. Do we have? We have a max potion. So what we need to grab is a Team Rockets and another energy. And the next turn we can start milling through their cards a little bit more. The difference between this deck and some mill decks is it's, in my opinion, it's a little bit slower. Other than cards like Team Rocket's Handiwork that actively discard from their deck, you really don't have too much of that going on. I think with Houndoom, like the attack actually does it. This one's a little different where we actually dig through our deck to get the cards that we need. So it works a little differently. They do have the Espeon out there. That could cause problems for us. So I may... oh, and he's going to float. Okay, he's just going to start using Psychic. Oh, I sold an Espeon Prime. How convenient. I'm okay with that. So, oh, there we go. Get what we need. So you can't use Espeon to take down that one. And I think that's what he's trying to build up to here. I'm going to treat this guy. Magical Ribbon. I already have an E-hammer. Grab a puzzle. I think I'm actually going to grab a Field Blower. And we'll grab a Team Flare Grunt. Let's see what we can do with that. We need to check our item count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4, so they can only hit us for 110 with a choice band. Sorry, dealt 7 energy total. He's going to try to take this guy out, and we're just going to use a max potion, which increases his damage output, but only by 20. So, that's okay. We'll actually Field Blower. Get rid of this one, and this one. I'd really rather the Trubbish not get a choice band. Gizmo this guy out. And we will grab a max potion just in case we need to. And energy just in case. I think we're actually just going to stick with those 2 for now. We've got everything else in our hand that we need at the moment. So if you're starting to notice anything, it's really all about prize denial. So that's their 4th float stone. So the problem is, I think we only have one of our Field Blowers in our deck, but that's fine because we have a few things that are going to help us. We have a max potion. We are going to use our puzzle, and we're going to get back a Field Blower. And we're going to grab a Gizmo for this turn. We are going to stick this guy in the active. And we'll get rid of the other float stone as well. Gotta check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, 9. So choice band on that Garb, and he gets us, but no floats anymore. Almost no more DCE. So I may want to use the puzzle again to get rid of their choice band. I can't remember how many choice bands they've played so far, just the one. grab that. Actually, we already have one of those. Grab that just in case. Well, no, that won't matter. Grab Plumeria. We'll need one of those, and we will click done. So see, as we get near to the end, we're kind of easing up on our magical ribbons. Just doesn't make as much sense to go as crazy with them. And now he's stalled. So this is good for us. So this turn we'll use the Team Rockets. Hopefully we can get rid of some energy from their deck. We get rid of 2 Sycamores. Oh man, I kind of wish they'd had those though. But they probably wouldn't play them. So 7 Psychic are used so far. I don't know how many they play though. Grab this. We already have a Plumeria, right? I'm just going to grab the puzzle. I'll probably grab some Team Rocket's Handiworks. Using the puzzles to grab a Field Blower at this point to get rid of the Choice Band would be dumb because you're putting in 2 to get 1 out to put it back in. So you're just upping his damage either way. He's going to Gizmo. He's going to take KO. That's fine. We have Flare Grunt. And we have Gizmo. Well, no. We don't want a Gizmo. Well, we do need a Gizmo, but we can't do them both. There's the DCE. So now we're in kind of a tight spot. We need to put 2 cards back. And I think what we go for is Crushing, hope it sticks, and Gizmo. Because at this point, it's not about getting rid of the Choice Band. I need to know how much energy they play. That's 5, 6, 7. If they get their DCE, we're in trouble because they can just get out and take the KO. Unless they've used... Oh, we miss it. Okay. So, here's what we do this turn. Yeah. This turn we play GX. We get rid of that guy. I think we just put both energy back in. Try to slow him up a bit. And when he gets one out with energy, we're just going to Plumeria, get rid of it. I think, yeah, we still have 1 more Plumeria in our deck. It's going to Ultra Ball. Hopefully he grabs something from his hand, or from his deck. Grabs a Lele. He's probably going to grab an N. That stinks. Yeah, he's probably got more N in there. You can't play a Gizmo if I don't have a bench. I think they think that you can just switch with Gizmo. You can't. So they're going to be very disappointed. Okay, so he's going to hit me for 5th. Oh no, he's going to use his big wheel. It's fine, he gets back the same amount of cards. And we will Team Flare Grunt. Get rid of that energy. That was one of the ones we got rid of earlier. I'm going to Magical Ribbon just to see what we can... I will grab this E-Hammer. Well, no, I don't need the E-Hammer. We've already got something. We'll grab Max Potion just to make sure that they can't do any more damage to us. We'll grab a Team Rocket's Handiwork, and we'll grab an energy just in case we have to use that Max Potion. If on this next turn, if we choose to go with Handiwork, like if it just works out to where we can do that. Okay, so there's DCE. He can retreat, but we have Gizmo, and he just wasted his last DCE. So that is okay. So he would have to attach 2 energy to his active. Oh, and he uses an N. That's kind of a downer for us. He's back up to 8 cards, and we don't have our Gizmo in hand. But, no, we didn't get it. Ooh, that's bad news. think we're gonna risk it. Do Team Rocket's handiwork. Hopefully we get rid of some energy. Oh, we don't even hit it. That's not good. That is not good at all. He played that really, really smart. Actually, that's not gonna do any good. And Gizmo's really all we need. Wow, he played that perfectly. Absolutely beautifully. I thought he was gonna grab that N earlier. He gets the sidekick. Gotta give him the well played. He didn't give me a chance. So yeah, guys, there's one deck that can definitely give us problems. Any sort of guard variant because of the energy. Thought we had him there near the end with the stall, but that's okay. So yeah, so there's like I said, probably only going to do those 2 matches with this deck just because those matches take so long, and a person can only watch Quad Sylveon for so long. Definitely a lot more fun to play with than against. And kudos to both players that played against me because they actually stuck with it the whole time. Personally, I get very frustrated when I play against it, so I just typically don't. I probably need to start doing it more so I can get more acclimated to playing it. So yeah, guys, here's the list one more time. Take a quick peek at it. Sorry for the slip up there. A quick peek at it. If you choose to build it, let me know how it does for you. If you have played mill in the past, what has been your favorite mill deck? Let us know in the comments. Or if you absolutely hate mill decks like I used to, and I still do, other than this one's good. Let me know why. Let me know some of your reasons behind it. I'm really curious. Be nice whenever you're down there in the comments going off on these mill decks. Just let us know your opinions in a cordial manner if possible. But yeah, guys, so I really hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, try it out. If you're totally anti-mill, you may enjoy this. You may enjoy playing the other side of the table. But yeah, guys, so I've been Jordan with the Deck Box, where we want to know what's in your box. Have a great night, guys.